Hey, I'm filming this video in landscape mode next to an unplugged microphone to let you know that I'm going to be starting a podcast. It'll primarily be published on YouTube, and you can get the link in the link tree in the bio. A lot of fellow creators, a lot of followers, heck, a lot of family has been saying that I should do a podcast for a while now, and honestly I've just been really dragging my feet on the concept. When deciding to come up with a podcast idea, number one, it had to be about something that I liked, not about something that I dislike or that I hate, because if I'm going to be spending this much time on it, I don't want to be spending so much time on reveling in what I don't like. And two, the idea has to be relatively unique. I'm not going to spend all this time and energy making something that you guys can get from 1,000 different people in 1,000 different ways. So I've come up with a triplicate of sister podcasts that all come out sequentially that I think you guys might like, and I'd like to go over each of them with you. All of these shows are going to be martial arts focused, specifically on fighters coming up in the local MMA scene, the same scene that I did. The first podcast is called the Fight Cherry Podcast, and this is probably going to be the most infrequent of the shows. This is going to chronicle somebody who's been through fight camp and has their very first MMA fight coming up in about a week's time. We'll meet the fighter, we'll go over how his camp went, what he expects in his first fight, what he's nervous about, what he has questions about, and it is my hope that this show will give you the insights of what it's like to go through a fight for the first time. We'll give you a little bit of insight in fighters in general, but also if it's something that you're looking to do, it can help qualm some expectations. Next subsequent episode in this podcast series is going to be called The Scrapdown with Big Bang Mike, and basically that's just me actually breaking down this fight. This can happen with fighters who are just appeared on Fight Cherry, right? But this can also be with any fighter that I have on my team. And we'll just break down what that fight is together, what went wrong, what we were expecting, what went different, what went right. Basically, I literally show you the fight, and I'm probably going to be in the corner just kind of commentating over the fight, the actual fight itself. This podcast would probably be a little more frequent than the Fight Cherry one, because with the Fight Cherry one, that only works for first-time fighters, and you can only be a first-time fighter one time. Whereas the Scrapdown, we can do multiple episodes with subsequent fighters who are going into fight 2, 7, 10, whatever that might be. And then the last subsequent of this triplicate of podcasts is called the Post-Fight Clink. This is where we take that fighter that just appeared on the Scrapdown a few days after the fight, and basically we share a drink for probably the first time since they've been in fight camp, and we just go over what happened in the fight together. I ask them questions. I ask them what they expected, what went different, what they could have done different maybe next time, whether or not they plan to fight again, stuff like that. All of these podcasts, they're going to be pretty casual, they're going to be pretty conversational. It is my hope that, it's not only entertaining to people who enjoy this sport and martial arts in general, but I hope that it also gives aspiring fighters and people insight into what goes into a fight and how to do that correctly. And then lastly, for local fighters here, I hope it gives them some media experience. If a fighter's serious about taking this to the professional level, maybe getting into a higher level of competition like the UFC, like Ryzen, they have some media background in doing these podcasts with me at a very early level, so that they're not blindsided by the time they're doing something like this or on television. And I probably should say the first of these podcasts are probably going to be premiering next week with my first fighter. Oh yeah, and remember, for every $70 that we make on the internet, whether it be from YouTube or member subscriptions here in app, you sponsor a weapons program for one of my current kickboxing kids, some of the youth. So if you feel charity as a motivation to do those things and click the right buttons, go ahead and do so, because you're helping out kids with their weapons programs. Anyways, if you made it this far in the video, thanks for staying. You guys are awesome, and thanks for this journey either way.